Okay, hello everyone. This is ConnectUs. In this video, we're just going to do a very brief, light introduction to the Teltonika router user interface. So I am going to log in. This is the most up-to-date user interface version at time of recording, which is 07.16.1. I am currently on a RUT M50, and here we go. So the very first thing you do is you have a status section, which is very extensive. This is the overview. Gives you a lot of customizable features that you can put on your overview screen. It is very informative, very nice. At any time, no matter what screen you're on, you have a special little shortcut area that will pop out to allow you to turn off Wi-Fi, turn off RMS, or turn off mobile. Also allowing you to turn them on if you're trying to troubleshoot. You also get statuses of your different SIM card slots, port status, etc. And that'll pop out and is customizable. All right. The next part of the status area is your system. This gives you information like your firmware versions, MAC address issues, memory, RAM used, hardware revisions, etc. Then we get into the status of network. If you look here, network has several different areas, which will be your mobile, your LAN, your firewall, your topology, and your network usage. These are just statuses. This is not where you would change information. So, for example, if we look at topology, we get a very nice graphical representation that we can then scan our LAN to see if other devices are connected. Currently, I have nothing advanced on here. All right, still in the statuses, you can get statuses of your static and your dynamic routes. Wireless, you can get information on interfaces and channel analysis. I currently have nothing connected to the wireless, but this is where you would get very sophisticated feedback. You can get statuses of different services that the RUT M50 supports, or the Teltonika router for that matter supports. Right now I have nothing activated, but there is a pretty extensive list. And then you can get real-time data, which includes your load, your traffic, wireless usage, your mobile signal, mobile usage, and your current connections. Then we go over to the next section, which is network. This is where you would change settings. So this is where you would change your mobile network settings that you may have to do, any kind of failover, SIM switching, limitations, utilities, etc. Then you have settings for your WAN interfaces, your LAN interfaces. This is where you would set all of your information on wireless, radios, etc. This is where you would set up your multi-WAN failover, firewall rules, port forwards, traffic rules, preventions, DMZ, and then custom rules. This is where you would set up VLANs for port-based or interface-based VLANs. Your routing, there's all kinds of different routes that you can do. There's BGP, RIP, OSPF, EIGRP, and NHRP, with each area having different sections and settings that you can mess with. There's also traffic shaping. You can set up some information on devices. Here is your different port settings, your port information, etc. Your power over Ethernet, and then your port mirroring if you would need to use that for troubleshooting purposes. This can also act as a DHCP server. And it also has a way that you can add custom DNS servers, whether it be a Cloudflare or some proprietary server you have running on your system. Here you can get statuses of your internet. I currently have nothing plugged in, so everything's offline. The next area we have is services. So this is very, very extensive. So I'm going to go over this in smaller detail. But this is how you would get the settings and status of your RMS, which is the remote management system through Teltonika. You can set up all different kinds of VPN. You can have mobile utilities to text you when different statuses or events happened. There is plenty of utilities for your serial, your input output. This is very cool, especially because this has ignition sensing and can be used in other facets other than fixed wireless that would just use an AC port. This has the 4-pin that you can add it to other I/O features. The SD and USB tools that you can use to expand your storage to allow for more extensive logging and allow you to install more services than what you could normally do. It has GPS information and caching. I don't have anything plugged in, so you won't see my location, but this is where you can get the location of the device and other information on GPS and geofencing. Data to server, so this would kind of be for like syslogs, things like that. This could go right back to a syslog recording server. Events reporting. It will note that in certain versions that some of this stuff may be depreciated, and it looks like a lot of this stuff is going to the event juggler, which we're going to talk about towards the end. SNMP settings, Modbus settings, MQTT settings. There's all kinds of things you can do there. Web filtering, site blocks, proxy-based content blocks. This can be a hotspot, which is different than a wireless router. You have wake on LAN features. So if it's not being used and you want the LAN to wake it up, or you want this to wake up other devices, this is what you would do. Wi-Fi scanner. I don't want to run this, but this would show you all of the Wi-Fi's in your area, channels that they're using, SSIDs, etc. So you can either look for rogue access points or conflicting channels. And then the event juggler, this is going to be where a lot of the depreciated things are going to come to. So that will be here. Then the last part we have is your system. This is your administration. This is where you would set passwords, add users, have controls, set up custom certificates, and expand that memory, which is essentially, putting in a USB port, a thumb drive, and allowing you to have more memory. Maintenance, you can do a lot of stuff with the maintenance. You can do auto reboots. You can back up configs every so often. You can get all your logs. You have a CLI. You can do a speed test from within here. So a lot of people usually do the speed test from their device, which is not accurate and sometimes a lot slower because of quality of service. So this will give you a speed test between the ISP and the router device, which is very nice to have. Package manager, as you could probably suspect if this was hooked up to the internet, this is where you would be able to install different packages and things like that. I just tried to do one. So Tailscale, when I get internet, it will install. I have the options to remove it if I want to. Um, so do all that kind of stuff. Firmware, here's how you update firmware. You can do it via a bin file or from the server. But it'll give you all that information and help you out. Here's other settings that you can do for, over the air. And then it has several wizards that it'll help you go through and set up the basics for general information, general settings, time, web UI. Then you have for your LAN, just everything that you need to get started. This is not anything that you would want to just use. There would be other things that you would want to change around, but your wireless, and then getting stuff set up for your RMS. Again, no matter what page you're on, you still have your little shortcut area. But that is the Teltonika user interface on the local router. I hope you found this informative, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.